Alright, so in this session we're going to have a look at sharpening tools. So we've got this lovely image. Now, whether or not it needs sharpening is everyone's different opinion, but this is the image that I found on the internet. I've saved it on Dropbox as bench.psd. So from here, I am just going to duplicate this image. Now we've called that original, and that was the original copy. So from here, I'm going to change this to a smart object, just so we don't make any detrimental changes. So you notice when we go to the filters and put the filters on, you're able to edit the filters as well to get that perfect sharpening quality that you want on your image. So we're going to go to filter and sharpen. As you can see, there's numerous sharpening tools. You may have maybe one or two more on the newer version, but for now we're just going to go and choose sharpen, and you can see automatically once I zoom in and hide, you can see the slight sharpening details over on the branches, I think more so than anything else. It's taken away, adjusted a bit of the colour also. So to edit these features, if you wanted to, you can click on the sharpening tool and you can change the opacity, and that'll take some of the strength off it, and that's how we can do that. So I'm just going to press OK. So that's the sharpening tool. Now, unfortunately, with the sharpening tool, it's fantastic, but it will apply it to the whole image unless you do a layer mask. But we're going to go into that with something else. So we can put 60, and then you can see the effects. So I'm just going to delete or drag the sharpening tool down, the filter down to the trash can, and that'll delete and save your original copy with the smart object over it. So we're going to go to filter, sharpen, and sharpen edges. And as you can see, there's not much strength there. But again, we're going to go to the sharpening tool and we can change the opacity, and we can change that down. Now what this will do is it'll pick out the majority of the straight edges around in your photo, and it'll focus on sharpening those areas. So for instance, it won't sharpen too much of the background. And again, I'm just going to drag that down to the trash can. And we're going to go to filter, sharpen, and sharpen more. Now automatically you can see the difference that sharpen more has taken effect on. It's literally gone a bit too much, and you can see the white glow around the edges. So on the sharpen more as well filter, you could take the opacity down. So if you wanted a really definitive sharpening tool on your image, more so than the normal sharpening filter that was on there, you could go for the sharpen more and decrease or increase as necessary. Okay, so I'm just going to drag that filter down, and we've got Smart Sharpen. Now with Smart Sharpen, you've got a few more details that you can go through. It may look a bit different to yours. It may already have the advanced on it and not the basic. So you can change the amount of sharpening you wish to have in your image. With the radius, if you take the radius too high, you can see it's going to give you like a glowing effect or maybe an embossed effect, but we don't want that, so we need to keep the radius usually as low as you possibly can. And with this one, you can remove Gaussian blur, lens blur, and motion blur if you have a motion image of someone kicking a football, who knows. But you can actually remove those as well, and this will go through for you. So I'm just going to leave it Gaussian for this. You can play around with the angle and you can make it more accurate. Not much of a detail there. So in the advanced settings, you also can do the same with fade the shadows and highlights, and change the tonal width again. So you can fade the amount of highlights within the image, so you get a bit more control over what you're doing. So I'm just press OK, and then you can see the difference. Slightly sharper trees in the background. Again, a good tool. But I'm just going to drag that filter down to the trash can and go to, I keep going to select for some reason. So we're going to go to sharpen and unsharp mask. Now here we can do the same. We can get a little bit more control and change the radius and change the pixels. So again, we take it too high, we're going to end up with a lovely effect and a lot of noise going on around the image. So we're just going to keep the radius as low as we can, and you can change the threshold around the image. So I'm going to press OK, and there you go. So that's the sharpening tools that are available. There is also another one on the newer version, which I'll go through after the session, after this video, not the session. So I'm just going to delete the smart filter. Oh my god, I'm getting tongue tied now. Down there. And there is one more that we want to go through. So it's called the Highpass Filter, and you'll find it in Other and Highpass. Now, with the Highpass filter, it's not technically a sharpening filter, but it can give absolutely fantastic results, because when you're trying to sharpen an image, it's mean you're trying to sharpen the edges around the objects without sharpening anything else. So you're trying to sharpen, excuse me, you're trying to sharpen those straight lines. So the Highpass filter is technically a edge detection filter, and what it will do is, you can see, it will pull up all of the edges, and you can increase the strength. It's starting to bring the picture through, so obviously if I take it a full whack, you can see it'll pick up the edges, as in the photo edges, which we don't want. We just want it to pick up the fine details. So I'm just going to set that to 5. So we can go in, press 5 and enter on the keypad. Now from here we need to change the channel of the light. So we can change overlay, and we're in 100%, so that's great. Just going to take it off like so, and as you can see, the detail is fantastic. So even though it's not a sharpening tool, it picks up on the edge detection, and you can change the overlay. You can go through the light choices, so you can change it to a soft light, hard light, and if you didn't like, or if it was too much, you could also change the opacity. So you can take it down a notch or 2. For now I'm going to leave it like that. Now this is fantastic again, but you're still selecting everything within the image. Alright, we've got the edge detection on, so it's not selecting the sky or anything. But for example, if I just wanted to select the tree trunk and the bench here, there are a way of doing that. So we're going to make sure we've got the original copy selected, the one we've got our smart filters on. I'm going to put a layer mask over that. So it already pops up the layer mask there, and it highlights it to show it's already shown. So we're just going to go to edit and fill. I'm just going to fill that with a black and 100% opacity. So what this does is it puts a black cover. Remember when we've already gone through smart filters, so it puts a black sheet over it, so you can't see anything. So as you can see, when I change the visibility on that layer, there's no changes because it's already hidden by the black layer mask. So what we need to do is go to your paintbrush tool, and I'm just going to increase the size a bit, and I'm going to paint. Make sure you've got white selected, and I'm just going to paint where we want the visibility to come through. So I'm just going to zoom in. I'm just going to paint over this bench so you can see instantly it's already bringing those details through. So I'll just do these trees, even though I don't want those selected really. I'm just going to make those sharper. As you can see on your thumbnail, it's letting you see parts of those images that you're selecting. So when I do that now, you can see a difference because you're actually letting it show through the layer mask. So you've automatically told it, I only want these parts to be shown and sharpened. So aside from doing that, you can use your selection tools as we've done previously. So I'm just going to drag the layer mask down to the bin, and then I'm going to go back to 60% and quick selection tool. Now obviously this is an alternative from painting. You can use your quick selection tool, Probably not recommended with this image, because if I select too much, it's going to select the entire image. So I'm just going to do those quick selections there. And so when I have my quick selection made, I can then go into layer mask, and it will automatically say those bits that I selected I want to be shown through. So when I zoom in, you can see it's just showing those bits that are selected to be sharpened. And they have it. Numerous ways how to use the sharpening tools in Photoshop.